Hello, if you've been here before, welcome back. If not, hi, my name is David. I make videos talking about media that I want to talk about. This is my edition of the Booktube Numbers Tag, a book tag all about numbers. Thank you so much to BookBuds who tagged me to do this tag. Count how many times I say tag. And this tag was created by Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff. I'll have both of their accounts tagged in the description below. Like I said, this is a book tag talking about books and their relation to numbers and numbers in relation to books. This is the first video that I'm going to be filming on I'll be using a different editing software, so it's going to be a little different for me to edit this, so we'll see how it goes. At least it's just a book tag, so it's just kind of fun, kind of free. One thing that was I saw this book tag and I liked the questions, but I thought there was going to be something more about books or whatever. So I'm just doing this to have fun with it. Every question, I'm going to introduce the number, with a book that has that number in its title, except for one. We'll get to that. But I just want to do something fun, be like, okay, these are the books that I have that have the numbers in them, etc. So question number one is represented by The Ones We Burn by Rebecca Nix, which is a really great sapphic witch, and she's like a wild witch type character who goes like berserk. She can see her going berserk here, who falls in love with a queen or princess who is twin brother, I believe, or just older brother, is going to be the king of the kingdom that is trying to oppress her people. And so, I don't know if it's specifically enemies to lovers, but whatever. Anyways, question one, what was your first booktube video? So I started my YouTube career just doing videos about the Magnus Archives. That's what I wanted. That's what I felt passionate about. That's why I say at the end of my videos, don't forget to be passionate, because that's what got me started on this journey. I felt passionate talking about the Magnus Archive, so I made videos because of that. So the first videos I made for YouTube specifically was just Magnus Archives videos. The first book-related video, I don't know if it's specifically booktube related, but book-related video was my review on, where is it? Please Look After Mom by Kyung Suk Shin. Oh god, there it is. The glare. This, I have a 2.5 hour or just 2 hour long video just talking about this book. You see how tabbed it is. And this was part of a 3 video series I was doing. I was like 3 amazing books that I read in high school that I wanted to revisit. I have a playlist of those 3 videos. That's Please Look After Mom by Kyung Suk Shin, The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy, and The Homegoing by Jesse. I don't know if I'm going to do those type of videos anymore. That took a lot of energy to do those for not that much response, but it was fun to do them. And so that was one of the first videos I did talking about books specifically, but actually booktube video related was I guess my introduction into booktube was talking about the books that I read in March of 2025, the book review monthly reading wrap up that I started there, talking about the books. I wish I would have started doing stuff at the beginning of the year. I don't remember what got me into actually talking about in March specifically. But I think around that time I also started doing Book of the Month, and I had put out my last video of the 3 books, and so I started following more people on BookTube and saw they were doing these every month, and so March was the first time that I put that out. And so I haven't even I should have rewatched it, or at least skimmed through it a bit to see if I change or evolve in how I talk about books, but that was definitely the first booktube video that I did. So that's 3 answers there, I guess. Anyways, question 1, The Ones We Burn. Question 2 is represented by Do You Dream of Terra 2 by Temi O, which is a flawed story, YA, about a group of young teenagers who are sent on a generation ship to a supposed Terra 2. And I liked it, but they never get to Terra 2. And I feel like this is the first of a series, but I've never heard of any second book. So I don't know. But it was really captivating when I read it. Anyways, question 2. How many books are you currently reading? So when I prepared these questions, I have them on my sticky notes. When I prepared the questions, I wrote down 1, which is still correct. But if I had prepared these questions the day prior, I would have had 3 books that I would be reading at the same time. And then when I started preparing for this video, I would have had 2 books that I was reading at the same time. But just a few hours earlier, that 2 went down to 1 because I finished a book a few hours ago. So right now I'm just at 1 book, and that 1 book is Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang, which, shameless plug, me and my friend Steph over at Coffee Over Apples we are both doing a read along for this book. The live show will be on August 7th at 8 p.m. The description below, I'll have the link to the Goodreads group that she and I have made, where we can talk about the book as we're reading it. I started this earlier today, and I'm only like 150 pages in, and then I finished a book earlier today. So I was at 3 books at one time, then down to 1, and then back to 2, and now back to 1. So yeah, anyway, shameless plug, a link in the description below if you're so interested. Shameless plug. Thank you. So yes, question number 2, represented by Do You Dream of Terror 2? Question number 3 is represented by The Three-Body Problem by Cixin Liu, which is the first book in the Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy that I finished this year. Amazing sci-fi epic about first contact with aliens, where Earth knows that aliens are going to invade, but they won't invade for another 400 years. So what happens to society after that? Really fun, amazing, amazing series. Anyways, question number 3. What was the top 3 books you read last year? So I have talked about these books a lot. I mean, I had a lot of really good books that I read last year. And so these are going to be recurring. I guess you're just going to see them here. We have Local Heavens by K.M. Fajardo, a retelling of Great Gatsby set in a cyberpunk future. Queer. Loved this so much. This is not in order either of like enjoyment. It's just the grouping. And then Network Effect by Martha Wells, which is the 5th, I believe it's the 5th or 6th book, I forget now, of the Murderbot Diaries series. Absolutely adored this entry and loved that it was novel size instead of just a novella size. And Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang, which is why I wanted to read the Sword of Kaigen. So there we go. There are other really, really good books, but I do think these were probably among the top. But still, it's like a lot to choose from. Those are just the 3 that I wanted to talk about briefly. Oh, Blood Over Brighthaven, about a girl who becomes the first wizard, I guess, in her city, and she has to deal with misogyny while she is a little racist, and so that's a really great commentary there. The 4th question is represented by Molka by Monica Kim. This is the 1 book that I could not find any other book that had 4 in the name beyond just books I have not read, right? It's just books that I have in person right now. I don't have any that start with 4, have 4 in the name. But Molka is the book of the month pick I chose for April, which is the 4th month of the year. Yes. Anyways, question 4. How many books did you read last year? I read 115 books last year, which was really fun trying to get to that very last 115th, which was, I believe it was the last book in the Murderbot Diaries or a short story anthology, one of those 2. I don't fully remember. I think it was Murderbot that I finished just at the nick of time for the end of the year. So, but yeah, I couldn't find any other books. That the ones that off the top of my head would be like 4 by Veronica Roth, which, the Divergent series, and then I Am Number 4, YA sci-fi series that I watched the movie for, but I Am Number 4, but I don't want to read that anymore. So anyways, Molka. Question number 5 is represented by The Throne of Five Winds by S.C. Emmett, which is an East Asian inspired fantasy epic about a handmaiden who is part of a princess who is married to an enemy kingdom after her kingdom is defeated in war. And now the handmaiden has to deal with the politics of the 5 winds, that being the 5 brothers that rule this kingdom, or are the princes of the kingdom. That's it. And I really like the relationship that the handmaiden had with one of the brothers, but the book was totally pushing her into liking a different brother. but I don't like that. And from what I've seen of the second and third book, that relationship grows more, and I don't quite enjoy that, so I have not read that yet. I have to revisit this book. But anyways, question 5. How many books have you rated 5 stars this year? I counted about 6 books so far that I've rated 5 stars. That's very little amount of books that I have rated 5 stars. And considering 4 of those are parts of a series, 2 of them being the last 2 of the Remembrance of Earth Past trilogy, The Dark Forest, second book, and Death's End, the third book, are 5 stars in the Remembrance of Earth trilogy. And then I have somewhere the last 2 books in the Masquerade trilogy, ignore the sticky notes, of which started with the Traitor Bar Cormorant, that being Monster Bar Cormorant, it's kind of, I can't reach that right now, and the Tyrant Baru Cormorant are 5 stars. Those 4 books, which are the last 2 books in each of the series, respectively. Then the other 2 books that I have as 5 stars are Dead of Summer by Ryan LaSala and The Lost City of Zed by David Graham. Those are the current 5-star books that I have this year. But like considering last year and how many 5 stars I have, and like it's the middle of the year, like TikTok, where are the really good books? Anyways, so yeah, that's number 5, represented by Throne of 5 Winds. Question number 6 is represented by 6 Days in Bombay by Akka Joshi. Amazing book that I got from Book of the Month about a nurse who, during 6 days in Bombay, learns about the life of a semi-famous painter who dies, and gives her the task to return paintings to some friends of hers in Europe. And so she's able to travel to Europe and have amazing travel there. Question number 6. Do you have a reading target this year? Are you on track? So no/maybe. I did have a reading goal last year, and I had put it at like 30 books because I wanted to keep it low and also wanted to see that number go really large. And I, surpassed it. I think I got like 167% or something like that. I don't know the math there, but I did really well with that. I don't really have a goal as to how many books number-wise. I'm trying to reach or surpass last year's, but if I don't get to that, I'm fine. But also, it is the middle of the year. It's July. It's early July, and I'm at around 70-ish books right now. So if I keep up with that rhythm, I'm going to reach about 130 at the end of the year. Not sure if I'll be able to do that. We'll see. But if I can't do that, if I can't get to 115, that's fine. I am not trying to reach that. What I am wanting is to set myself up for next year to be able to read some different types of books. In that, I want to finish the Expanse series by the end of this year. I want to clear out my to be read shelf. This is all of these books are books that I have not read yet that I need to clear out. And then I have some over here that you can't see down below. That's like half a shelf full. So that's my goal, I guess, is to clear out more space. And then next year, finish more series that I have. Like, for example, Throne of 5 Winds. That's a trilogy. See if I want to continue that trilogy or not. That's what I did with Three Body Problem. Finished it, loved it. That's what I did with the Traitor Baru Cormorant. Finished that, loved that. And so I just want to keep doing that for next year. So my goal is to just set myself up for success with my reading. Question number 7 is represented by The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton, which is about a nameless, at the beginning, investigator who spends 7 nights in a different body during a party where he's trying to figure out who killed Evelyn Hardcastle. I didn't quite enjoy the plot twist at the end of this, and it got a little confusing at the very beginning. So I was very unsure about this book towards the end of it. We will also return to talking about 7.5 Deaths. So, question 7: how many pages long is the book you are reading now? So, once more, shameless plug, join our read along of Sword of Kaigen. This book has a total of, I think I counted 611 pages long. I sped through a lot of this earlier today. So yes, 7 Deaths represents 7.5 deaths represents question 7. Question 8 is represented by the 7 or 8 deaths of Stella Fortuna by Juliet Grams, a stellar historical fiction about the life of Stella Fortuna, which deals with generational trauma and society and how it hurts women. I love the ambiguity of 7 or 8 deaths of Stella Fortuna. That or 8 is really interesting because one of those deaths is because her family was going to travel from Italy to America before World War II starts. And her father, who has been an alcoholic and not a really good father at all, accidentally puts her name as something else. I forget. It was like it was a male name. And so when they try to get on the boat, they don't let her go on because they're like, you're not this person, or your ticket is wrong. So her and her family are not able to go on that boat. And later, that boat sinks, killing everyone on that ship. And if her name was correct, she would have been on that and would have died there, but didn't. So I really like that ambiguity there. Spoilers, I guess. I will not tell you the other 7 deaths. Anyways, question 8, how long are your videos? This one's shaping out to be a little longer one, but most of my tag videos I try to make between 20 to 40 minutes long, nothing more than that. I talk a lot, but for tag videos, it's very structured, so I can do that. Reviews for my books, or even about movies that I'm watching nowadays, is about an hour, because I do talk a lot about the books, and I want to be able to express my thoughts on them pretty well. And then like videos about the Magnus Archives tend to be an hour to 2 hours long, depending on what I'm talking about. Like when I'm doing my Firenze exploration, that's about an hour to an hour and a half. But then my thoughts, ideas, and theories for the Magnus Protocol is like 2 to 3 hours, depending. I try to keep it within 2 hours, I think. But yeah, that's how long my videos are. I talk a lot, you know? We will also return to the 7 or 8 deaths of Stella Fortuna. Question 9 is represented by Number 9 Dream by David Mitchell. Look at this cover. I don't know what's happening. That's at least a bullet train. This is about a young man who travels to Tokyo to try to confront his estranged father, and every chapter has some different thing happening in the prose. The first chapter it dives into his daydreams. Like in the middle of the chapter, it messes with time. In a different chapter, it's his reading of a different person's story. Different things happen. Really amazing writing from David Mitchell here. Question 9 is, do you have a favorite number? I, overall, just don't want to pinpoint something as my favorite because I am so full of love and joy that I don't want to say, oh, blue is my favorite color. Because I would say blue is my favorite color when I was younger, but then I would like really enjoy purple and green, and then sometimes red, right? So like I don't want to say thing is my favorite because I like a lot. I don't want to say one book is my favorite because at least these 3 shelves are my absolute favorite books, but then there's a lot of books in these shelves that are just, you know, Gen Pop that I really enjoy as well. Not to the level of these, but still, I don't want to just keep myself onto one thing. I don't have a favorite number. I have a number that I return to a lot in terms of things that I do or want to do or whatever. Those numbers tend to be 3, 5, and 7. Those prime numbers, I don't know, there's something about them. 7 specifically, I wanted to return to because I think I have more. But these are all books that have 7 in their name. 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which was pretty good. I just feel like in this book she wasn't very confident with herself, the author. And then 7 Ways We Lie by Riley Redgate, which is about 7 high schoolers who represent the 7 deadly sins, deal with a sex scandal in their high school. I think there's like one more, but I don't remember. I checked online. But I was like looking for a book that had 7 in the name. And I was like, oh, I got a lot of good options here. So I saved Stella Fortuna for 8 because there's not any for 8 beyond this one. And then I was like, okay, let's do other 7s. So yeah, I guess also, because I mentioned 5, I saw just now, I also have the 5 Stages of Andrew Brawley, which is a really great, I have to read it though, but it's a really interesting YA coming of age, gay, about a kid whose entire family dies and he just sort of hides in a hospital for like books that have 5 in them. And then I guess 3 Body Problem is the only one that I could think of that I remember seeing that had 3 in it, but Three Body Problem, amazing start of the series. So, connections. The numbers. And question number 10 is represented by, I'm cheating a little bit here, but The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow, which is a book I return to a lot to talk about how it's about a child and her growing up and learning that there's some sort of magic while living in a secluded area, and it's like magical realism type of not even magical, it's fully fantasy though. But I keep returning to this book. I need to read it because I don't feel like I understood or appreciated it as I should. And there's a little bit cheating because it's technically 10,000 the number, but 10 is in the name. Anyways, question 10. Do you have a book in your shelves with a number on the title or on the cover? So that inspired me to do all of these books representing the questions. And then before I had thought of that, I had written down a book that I have not yet read, which was Nine Goblins by T. Kingfisher, which is a little short comedy novella fantasy, I believe. But then I was like, oh, I should have more. So that inspired the structure of this video, So there's that. Yeah, 10,000 Doors. And yeah, that is my edition of the Booktube Numbers Tag. Thank you again to the Book Buds for tagging me to make this video. In the description, I'll also tag a handful of other creators that I would like to see you do this tag as well. You don't have to do the same structure thing as I did. I was just a little bored, and I was like, yeah, let's find books that represent the numbers. If you know any other books that I should read that have the number 4 in the title, please let me know. Also in the description, again, shameless plug, 3 times the charm. In the description is the Goodreads group for the Sword of Kaigen read-along. So join us if you so desire. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to be passionate. And I'll see you later.